Welcome to Alice Just Alice 55. You're listening to an AI-narrated audiobook version of my original story, The Unclaimed Werewolf, an Unbound Wolves novel, written by Alice N. Smith. Chapter 38, Where the Quiet Breaks. Nora did not come out of her den, not when the light shifted. Not when the forest resumed its normal rhythms, not even when the scents at the edge of her territory rearranged themselves into something new and unavoidable. She lay on her side in the packed earth hollow, one arm flung over her eyes, the other curled loosely around Morsel's back. He was pressed against her ribs, warm and solid, breathing slow and steady like he always did when she was wound too tight. "This was a mistake," she said aloud. Morsel's tail thumped once against the dirt. She scowled at the ceiling of roots and branches. "Don't agree with me like that." His tail thumped again. She sighed and rolled onto her back, staring up at the low roof of her den. The place still smelled like her, earth, fur, old smoke, safety. That part hadn't changed, but everything beyond it felt crowded now, not physically, mentally, like the forest itself had learned new rules without asking her. "I had quiet," she muttered. "I had routine. I had days where the loudest thing I dealt with was you falling into the creek." Morsel lifted his head and sneezed. "That was not an exaggeration," she added. "You fell in twice." He licked her chin, unapologetic. She huffed a weak laugh and scrubbed a hand over her face. "I didn't even want this," she went on. "I didn't ask to be noticed. I didn't ask for suitors or counsels or rules that only seemed to apply to me." Her fingers curled into the dirt beside her. "I was fine," she said quietly. "I was happy." The word felt strange on her tongue. She hadn't used it much, not because it was fragile, but because it had felt unnecessary. Happiness had just existed, ordinary, unexamined. Now it felt like something that had been taken and labeled. Morsel shifted closer, pressing his weight into her side. She tightened her arm around him automatically, burying her face briefly in the fur at his neck. "I let them in," she said into his shoulder. "I actually agreed to it." He made a soft, questioning noise. "I know why," she added quickly. "I do. It was the smarter option. Fewer of them at once. Fewer chances for the council to decide I'm being difficult," she snorted. "As if that's ever stopped them." She went quiet for a while after that, listening to the forest outside. Distant, muted, respectful enough for now. Her jaw tightened. "You know what I keep thinking?" she asked finally. "I could just choose someone. Pick the least irritating option and be done with it." Morsel stilled. She stared at the wall again. "One decision, one bond, and then everyone leaves me alone." Her mouth twisted. "They'd stop counting, stop watching, stop sending people to stand just close enough to make me want to bite something." She closed her eyes. "But then it wouldn't be quiet," she said softly. "Not really. It would just be occupied." Morsel huffed, warm breath against her skin. She cracked one eye open and looked down at him. "You'd hate it." He tilted his head. "Yes, you would," she insisted. "You don't like strangers. You barely tolerate brooks." His tail thumped. She paused. "All right," she conceded. "You tolerate brooks." She sighed again, longer this time. "And Eamon," she added reluctantly. "You didn't growl at him either." Morsel's ears flicked, thoughtful. "That surprised me," she admitted. "Both of them did." She shifted onto her side, propping herself up on one elbow, absently tracing the line of Morsel's shoulder with her fingers. "They weren't awful," she said, quieter now. They didn't crowd me. They didn't look at me like I owed them something, she scowled, which is irritating in its own way. Morcel licked her wrist. I know, she said. It doesn't mean anything. She fell silent again, thoughts circling without settling. Anger still burned, but underneath it was something else. Loss, disruption, the ache of having a life interrupted, not because it was broken, but because it had been seen. I just wanted to be left alone, she whispered. Morcel shifted, crawling up her chest slightly, so his head rested under her chin. His weight was awkward and insistent and familiar. She wrapped both arms around him this time, pressing her face into his fur. I don't want to choose wrong, she said, and I don't want to choose because someone else decided I had to. His tail thumped, slow and steady. She stayed like that for a long time, breathing him in, letting the den hold them the way it always had. Eventually, her muscles loosened, not resolved, not calm, but steadier. We'll deal with them tomorrow, she murmured. Today I'm allowed to be angry. Morcel sighed contentedly and went boneless against her. She closed her eyes. Outside, the forest waited. Inside, Nora let herself grieve the quiet, just for a little while longer.